Happy Tuesday. Couldn't hear me for a second, but here we are. It is Tuesday, and it is a wet one to start the day off. So let's go ahead and jump into what to expect for today's forecast. So lots of us are seeing rain chances at the moment. This is a look at Madison. It's kind of kept us a little cool this morning. A little nice breeze every now and again, but it's also raining literal sheets of rain at this rate. So as you can see, we've got a good deal of those rain chances. Now, yesterday when we looked at this model, it looked like it was going to remain a little north, just ahead of the Alabama state line. It was just going to be our Tennessee counties dealing with stuff. And as you can see, that's kind of not been the case. So it's been lots of us in northern Alabama dealing with some heavy rain chances, seeing these opportunities for thunderstorms pop up throughout the morning. So it has been a very wet start, and we'll continue to see these storms hang around for next couple of hours for your Tuesday. So looking into the next couple of hours, temperatures will kind of sit in those mid 70s as we keep that rain cooled air surrounding most of us. We will start to see those 80s closer to the afternoon hours, more so the evening. 5 o'clock is around 83, and even still that could be a struggle for a couple communities, just depending on when and how long the rain lingers in your area. So really dependent on that whole process there, but it's going to make it feel like fall for the next couple of days. Lots of us sitting in the mid 70s, low end 70s, and then we have a couple areas, Meridianville, Athens, Fayetteville, and Winchester in the upper 60s. So most of us are still kind of feeling a little cooler this morning. Coleman is at 79, so it's also relatively dry to our south. So areas like Russellville, Haleyville, Coleman haven't really seen a rain chance, so to speak, for this morning. So this will kind of show you give you a visual idea of what our temperatures are going to do for the day. We're expecting the high to be around 88. However, we've kind of walked that back a little bit, just due to how long the showers and storms are staying in the area. So you'll notice it kind of sits in those low end 70s and mid 70s for quite a while. That'll be the name of the game for the next couple of days. And as we get into your Wednesday forecast, 70% chance of thunderstorms. It's also a first alert weather day. So go ahead and make your plans accordingly for Wednesday. Rain chances will start to walk back just a tad before we get to Thursday and Friday. Now, today's rain chances have kind of kept us on the cooler end, kind of pushing us down into the mid 80s for our highs for the day. As we get to Wednesday, there's going to be a cooler air mass coming through Wednesday into Thursday. That's going to keep us in those low end 80s to the upper 70s, and that's going to push us into an also relatively dry weekend. Friday, that 20% chance could dry out before we get to that point, but this is just your next couple of days at a glance. So we'll keep rain chances around definitely on Wednesday. It'll come back a tad on Thursday, but by Friday, it's probably going to be less of an opportunity for rain. Now, the issue is some of our models are not finding consistency for today. So I will show you tomorrow's expectations. We'll see rain chances for a couple areas as early as 5 o'clock and a decent breeze coming along with it. We'll continue to see those heavy rain chances throughout most of your morning, seeming like a bit of a rinse and repeat from what we've seen already this morning. This is 8 a.m. that you're looking at here. It'll be an opportunity for heavy downpours and a couple of storms to start the day out. We won't really see pockets of dry moments until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it will be a pretty much wet morning. Breeze will pick up by that point. We do have some dry, less than an hour of a dry period for the valley, and then start to see the second wave of showers and storms around 2:30 for a couple areas at the latest. Then, as you can see here, by 5 o'clock, we still have a good deal of those heavy downpours throughout most of our areas, pretty widespread. Not too many people without seeing a shower or storm throughout that afternoon and evening hour. It'll go into our evening as well, closer to the 9 and 10 o'clock hour. For our eastern communities, they'll still see a rain chance, and it's heavier the further south that you are. As you can see outside of Albertville, very heavy rain chances throughout the southern portion of our communities. On the eastern side, we'll continue to see some dry conditions heading into Thursday, but Thursday's rain chance is about 30 to 40%. So we'll see how that, how Wednesday's rain chance kind of affects the next day, and pretty much gives us a domino effect. It'll be a little less of a rain chance on Thursday, thankfully, but Wednesday is kind of like a rinse and repeat, and then we also carry it into the afternoon. So heavier chance for thunderstorms as well. Looking at our humidity outlook, we are sticky for the next couple of days. So those dry periods that I mentioned for Wednesday, not the most comfortable to be outside. We'll continue to see those dry conditions into Friday, where it goes, well, sticky conditions, I should say, into Friday. Get a little comfy by that point. And then as we get to Saturday and Sunday, that's when we start to lose those rain chances. They kind of fall off as we head into the weekend due to some of that cooler air mass moving in, drying some things out for us. We'll have less humidity by that point, thankfully. So humidity is starting to make its way out the door once again. So the first weekend of fall is proving to be a nice one and starting to feel a little like fall too. We're in those low and mid 80s for Saturday and Sunday. Sunshine's expected, a couple of clouds every now and again. Sunday morning, maybe a little bit of a brisk start. We're getting into those 50s. So the highest low, I would say, is about 59. So some folks that usually are on the cooler end of things, our northern communities, especially the folks in Tennessee, could possibly see some mid to upper 50s instead of being closer to 59 to 60. So keep that in mind for your Sunday morning as well. Tracking out the tropics real quick. Still have Gabrielle churning away in the Atlantic. Right now, still a Category 4. Seems like it may pick up speed. We'll look at Gabrielle's track in a moment, but these two disturbances following behind it, kind of a little bit of a cause of concern for the disturbance in orange, which is disturbance 2. Just because you can see the path eventually has it shifting close to the eastern coast. And while that doesn't outright affect us here in Alabama, you still have that, that opportunity for, if we get some storm surge on those coastal communities, that could do a good deal of damage. We could be seeing some of the same issues that we saw with Aaron earlier in the summer. So the next two names are Umberto and Imelda, and then after that we have Jerry and Karen. So keep that in mind. That is H, I, J, and K. Interesting fun fact, I've learned my alphabet backwards as well. So some days it works better than others, working from the back to the front. So anywho, on that note, I can't remember who our L name is. I'll have to look it up for you, and I might post it on my Facebook. Actually, we'll post that a little later so we can have a running list. So right now, though, we're going to take a quick look at Gabrielle's track. Next update's coming this afternoon. So once we finish up our noon show, we should possibly, sometimes they do release them a little early if some things have changed, but looks like it's planning on weakening by Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. So, sorry, I have to sit up to look at it. I don't have my glasses or my contacts on, which is so bad. But anywho, yes, go back to about a Category 3 on Wednesday. The tropical low by Saturday. So we could see this rolling through for the next couple of days. Hopefully, I think the biggest concern is the area of Bermuda. I feel like is one of the big concerns closer to the weekend. So we'll keep that in mind as we continue to watch and see what Gabrielle's going to do for the next couple of days. So looking ahead to our week, we do have that first alert weather day on Wednesday. That's going to be your day tomorrow. Now, I will say it looks like it's shaping up to be something of a similar pattern to today. The reason that it's first alert is because the opportunity for storms is greater than what we've seen today. Could pick up some gusty winds in a couple areas. There is a marginal and slight risk over parts of the Tennessee Valley. Some folks are marginal, other folks are slight. So we'll keep that in mind as we forecast for tomorrow. That's so far our biggest point is the fact that we're seeing these storms in the morning as you make your morning commute. You get some dry hours right around 1 to 2 o'clock, and then showers come back in, build up into storms. Storms will affect your commute to and from home tomorrow. So just to give you an idea of a timeline that you can quickly remember. So with that being said, parents, think about your students. Make sure they've got rain jackets. Yeah. Also make sure that there's rain boots, because I walked out this morning in sandals and I was like instantly regretting it. So, you know, maybe some indoor recess for tomorrow for my teachers that are tuning in, or just even students that are tuning in. If you're tuning in as a student, appreciate it, love that, but go back to class. Anyway, also for my parents and folks that are working, keep in mind that these will, like I mentioned, affect your commute to and from home, so drive safely. A lot of times, first alert weather days, we do have them for severe weather, you know, when there's the possibility of, hey, we could see an opportunity for a tornado, or we could see an opportunity for some heavy storms like we are tomorrow. Heavy storms, definitely. We just like to make sure that if it's going to impact your day in any way, shape, or form, we want to make sure that you are well aware, which this is definitely going to impact your commute to and from home. If you drove into work this morning at all, or even if you just looked out the window, it was raining sheets, literal sheets. So we could see some possible, I think some areas actually are, I want to say Limestone, Madison, Morgan, I know I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, and Franklin. Quite a few counties dealing with some flash flood warnings till about 12:45, 1 o'clock. So keep that in mind as well. I know that's like lunch hour for a lot of folks. So if you are taking a quick drive to get some lunch, keep in mind that the roads may be a little slick. Pavement's definitely going to be slick, but there's also some opportunities that there could be some flooding on the sides there. So I just want to make sure everybody's thinking ahead, playing it safe. Because today is probably going to be a test run for tomorrow, I would say, just to put it in the best possible example for you. We'll see a good deal of showers and storms for tomorrow, and then it walks back a bit by Thursday. By the time we get to Friday, we're thinking that those rain chances on Friday could possibly dry out completely. But you see Friday goes into the upper 70s as well. So we'll see another blast of cool air. The rain that we've seen today has kind of softened the blow of the cool air, so we're kind of taking that turn a little earlier than we would have. Oh, I thought I was hearing thunder. I was like, oh no. But yeah, so once we get to the weekend, dry conditions, first weekend of fall, exciting, but it's going to be nice and gorgeous. And even if you plan to get out, there's tons of events happening this weekend. Can't think of any off the top of my head. But I know a pumpkin patch is supposed to be opening soon, Tate Farms, so that's fun. Make sure you get out and enjoy this weekend. It's going to be gorgeous, beautiful, everything in between. Following days behind that, nice dry conditions. We'll see some cloud cover every now and again as it does get a little cooler for us, but we'll be in those low in 80s, which feels like fall. Chef's kiss, love it. So with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. I'm going to answer a couple questions. Hi, Miss Sarah. How's everybody doing? Oh, yes, of course. I hope everybody's been doing okay. Let's see. So, no, the weather that we are getting is not exactly due to those hurricanes. Now, there is an opportunity that our coastal communities, so well off in Georgia, South Carolina, those folks would probably get the bulk of what comes off of anything that builds from hurricanes. But here we're just kind of dealing with a cold front that's moving through, that's kind of passing through. Last week, I'm pretty sure it's moved through since, but this past week we had two opposing ridge and troughs kind of moving around us. So like we were here in the middle of it and it was just kind of moving around us. So that was kind of like causing some swirling air, so to speak, to put it the best way possible. But yes, we were kind of in between, I believe it's called an omega ridge. Yeah. So you're kind of stuck in between two opposing forces. But this particular week, there is cold front coming through that I believe it came through. It was supposed to move closer to Friday and Saturday. When I first looked at it, this past Saturday, it was supposed to move in, and now we're kind of seeing it push its way back. So, keeping that in mind. So, that's just what's kind of causing the next couple of showers and storms, really just being some rainmakers for us. So, oh man, I'm sorry. I hope they feel better. But yeah, we're kind of getting some changes in pressure. It's getting close to that time of year where we start to see those colds pop up. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Be safe. Drive safe in this rain. And with that being said, I'll be on TV in about 5 minutes, so I've got to jet and go do that. But I hope to see you guys on the other side of the screen, and then I'll be in for the noon show as well. So have a great rest of your day, and this is my Friday, so I will see you guys back on your Friday. Bye.